This is Old Man PHP. I create PHP video tutorials for the old guys who want to learn a new skill and compete with the young crowd. Video number 116. Yes, we got off the big old notation for a little while in the data structure. The last one was about graphics, more lined, more wording, not an actual graph, but the idea is still there. Anyway, I also mentioned that I was going to create videos with a form, a nice little website, and a form, right? And from there, it's going to go into the database, that whole thing, with the HTML5, CSS3, JavaScript, and PHP for the security stuff and to insert stuff into a database. We're going to do that. But right now, what I want to do is a few videos just to the breakdown. So right now, in today's video, I want to talk about the CSRF. Let me write this down here so you can see what I'm talking about. I created the two things here. This stuff right here, the CRS, that one. This is like it's a protection, right? It's like a production ready. If we need to move away from, because remember way back in the video, so if you create this in the security, you can do that. I also meant way even more newer videos. I mentioned the CSRF, and I kind of demonstrated to use that instead of hard-coded strings. So instead of that, we'll use that unique and random token for every session. That's what that does. The C. Let me write this down here. Wait a minute, what's going on here? Oops. Where was it? Right here. Is there missing stuff here? I don't know. But you know something? Let's do this. Let's do this and then do this. That. Okay? Because, if you got this is how you start a PHP. This is going to be the form, but it's going to have PHP in it. That's why I kind of did that, So, what we're going to do is, what I wanted to say. Oh, yeah, I want to explain what that CSRF is, and that is the cross-site request forgery. It's also mentioned as like this, XSRF, like that. It's a web security vulnerability thing that we have, right? That PHP provides, and a lot of the languages kind of provide their own thing like that. And this is when the attacker tricks a victim like you, me, maybe somebody else victim's browser into executing unauthorized state change action. Remember how we check for anything that SQL injections and those things? That's what this does. But it wants to be sure that when you're going to create it in a form, and then once you submit the form, it gets on the other side, the PHP side, it's going to check between those two things, right? Because you want to avoid this thing that these hackers do. And this is a really good way of doing it, such as changing the password. That's what they do, right? They let me see, they're transferring funds, and you're updating your profile data, and then they get that information. You know what I mean? So it's a good idea that you do this, because it's a user already authenticated, and that will help you out, and you'll see what I mean. Now, let me see, because it explores the trust of a site. So by passing the same original policy, this is going to help you. Now this prevents the attackers from guessing the tokens, because you're going to create a token, right? So what do you mean by that? Well, I showed you this before. It creates a token inside the form. You don't see it because we're going to use type hidden. So that's how it works. I mean, you're going to do like, the way it works is that it does, let me see, three things. It does generations and injections and validation. So the generations, when the user loads the form, the PHP generates that random string and then stores it into a right here, into the remember session. Remember that one? And then you have the injection. That's the same string that is placed into the hidden input field of the HTML form. And then the validation, when the user submits, the PHP compares that token from the $post data against the one that you have. So if you, when you, I'm going to show you in a second anyway, but when you, I'm going to go like this so that way I don't get no stupid error. When you do this, like this, right, and you send it in through there, right, it's going to check that. Remember, anything from the form, because now you're using post. Remember what you do. I'm going to show you that in a second. And then you're going to store it into $_session. And the session is, say, I'll explain to you in a second, but it's going to do that. And then how about if we do now, to get this session working? See, session is very important, because session is something like a, what you would call it, it's like a cookie. And I'll show you how you create cookie. The cookie is something that gets created and stays inside the browser, because it's actually in the client side. But the section is sort of like that, right? And but it's done on the server side. That's why you can't get to it. And you have to have this right here. You need to have this set up, because when you go look at a form, which I'm going to show you in a second, and it has PHP in it, you're not going to see the PHP part of it because it's not allowed. So for it to work, you would need this. This has what is, let's get rid of all that, because I'm going to have all this stuff written anyway. Oh man, excuse me guys. Yeah, I'm at it again. Couldn't sleep last time, man, after the Super Bowl. What a terrible game that was. Anyway, so let me see. We're gonna start this, right? We're gonna start a session. Now the session should be like way up there. This is how you do the session. It should be the first thing, right? So you're gonna say session start. I should have typed this whole thing up so we don't have to waste time doing this, but it's okay. Maybe when it gets bigger and bigger, we'll do that, because I'm going to add more. On the next video is going to be the next step, right? And then on the last video, it's going to have all these things together in one place, and you'll be able to, play around with it. So this generates we're going to generate a secure token. If one doesn't exist, so what we do is we're going to check, right? We're going to say, let me see, if, because you haven't done it yet, so you know it's going to be empty. So you're going to be like this, empty underscore dollar, oops, daisy. A lot of these stuff don't work for me at one point. So wait, just be prepared that we're going to have to edit some of these things. Okay, we're going to call it anything you want, but it's best if you kind of keep it, so that way you know. So it's SRF like this. We'll call it token like this. And let me see, maybe. And then you got this. Let me see. I'm going to put space. This belongs to that guy. So I'm going to put a space here. Let's put a space here. We're going to do this. And then, of course, we're going to close it up, right? And then in here, we're going to use let's create the session, right? This is how it's done. If it's empty, right? If this is empty, that means it doesn't exist. But if it did exist, it just keeps going down the line. So what we do is we go like this, Let me see. Where is this thing? Remember, we're going to call it CSRF underscore token, like this. And then we're going to say, we're going to assign something to that. This is how you assign this. Remember cookie, you do use dollar underscore cookie, and then you put it in brackets the actual name of the cookie and then the value right next to it. This is how it's done. So anyway, you do like this, it's token. He said, well, how you know it's token? Well, we're going to create this with something you just create. So we're going to say, we're going to use this thing that will help out to convert the string into ASCII characters, like to hexadecimal values. So basically, it'll look like, let me see, we're going to use bin to hex, get it? Your binary to hex, okay. Let me see, I think I spelled that right. To hex, and then you're going to select this. There is a thing there. Okay, let me see. I'm going to put this here, and then within here, we're going to say, we're going to call it the random byte thing. This will give you just random numbers. Like this. I'll have that written down in the thing when we do it. We're going to say 32 length equals to this. Let's see, random bin to hex random. It doesn't look right. Oh, you know what it is? I'm missing the end. Random bytes 32. And then you're going to keep it like this, closed up. So we're done. Then over here on the next line, we want to echo this stuff, right? So we're going to say, that's just a way of, I think we already, how about we, you know what we could do? We can, that's okay, we'll keep it like that. You didn't need this because that's only when I'm going to use it because I want to make the lines out. It doesn't matter, you never have to use that like that. And now we're going to create the what is that, the form. Now I know this is not HTML stuff, but this is how you do the form, okay? So you're going to say this is the action, and we're going to call a process. We're going to call another script, another program to do the job for you, to check your stuff and all that. This is the PHP side of it. Then of course we're going to use the method. Remember I was telling you we're going to use that method. How did I? Oops. Post like that. Uh-oh. And then you go like this. That's how you're going to do it. And then within, we're going to close it up. And then we're going to say, I thought I close it up. What is it? My glasses? What's wrong with my glasses? I can't see this. What's wrong with this? It's so bad. Oh my god. Okay. And then we're going to close it up, right? This is how you close the form, right? Now between the form, you're going to add your stuff, your fields and all that thing, right? So we want to keep it. We want to keep that CFR, this stuff right here. We want to keep it hidden. For this demonstration, I'm just going to say text so you can see it. But in reality, you're going to do this. So hidden like this. You're going to say that's the type and it's hidden. This means that nobody can see it. When you bring up the form, nobody can see this. Then you're going to say the name will be CSRF token. Remember, because the PHP uses this name. You can call this anything you want. This name is different than where is it? Than this. Even though it's the same name, but it's two different things. Alright, so then you're going to say the value. The value would be, oh my gosh, the value would be, let me see, right here we're going to put a, come on, See, this is the whole form itself. This is the way it works. Over here, we're going to say input. We're going to put another one, right? Because we want the button. We want the button to work. So we're going to say type equals, we're going to say submit. Like this. Then we're going to say name equals submit. Then you're going to say the value. The value is what sits inside the button. We're going to call it the same name. Now all these things, submit, 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 it's all different things. Even though we're talking about the button, which is one thing, but they mean two different things. I could call this something different, and I could make the button something different. I just called it like that. The main thing is this guy and this guy. Then of course the value, because you want people to see what it is. You don't want to show them a button that has nothing written in it. They're going to look at that and they're going to say, what is this? Try the button? What is it? That kind of thing, right? So then you do that. Now the form, that's your form. We closed it up. And I guess we can kind of show you what it looks like. Yeah, we'll do that. You know, when we do the... Okay, let's see. Let's do this thing. First of all, let's see if we can save this. And let's see if it'll play. There you go, buttons, submit. But it's not showing you anything, right? Because I said hit here, and it's not doing anything. So maybe we just say text, right? So you can see. And then within here, I want you to put a, what is that? PHP command. So we're going to say PHP. Yeah, you can add PHP commands within different things. Yes, you can. What is it? I want to echo the actual session. Remember the session that we created with this? Let's see. Remember, this is an array, by the way. And then we're going to say CSRF underscore token. Like that. And like that. And then we're going to say, let me see the name of it. CSRF token, that equals to that equals to that. And then, of course, because you're using this here, this and this is it. So right here in between this prod, we're going to do this, and then we're going to say this. And this is what closes the PHP, which is this, right? You know how you have it over here? We also got to have it over here too. That's like the start of your command, and everything that goes is PHP, and then you close it up. This here, this is PHP right here. This is why I named it. What did I? Yeah, just this is why I named it .php, because you're using PHP stuff in there. Now, let's say you didn't have PHP in there, and you just want to do this, you can still name it .php and it'll work. But if you have PHP stuff in it, of course it'll work. It'll do his job, because otherwise he just won't do nothing. Anyway, it'll give you a blank. It'll give you a value of this crap. Anyway, so let's see. Now we did text because we want to look at it. Let's see if I did this right. Okay, let's see, Benny. Synced. There you go. See that crazy looking thing? That's what that thing. I'll tell you what. Why don't we just let's do the hit, and I'll show you how you check. Okay. Let's do the hit. Just get it out the way. Okay. See, it's hitting. If we go like this, you right click, you say view page source, and here we go. See all this stuff right here? All this stuff right here? This was created by that. This was created by bin to hex. Yeah, that's what creates it. Remember, it converts a string of ASCII characters to like hexadecimal values, and that's what you see. And that's what that is. Whatever it is that it wants. Okay. Now, you know that you can turn this back into whatever it is that you have. And by the way, this random bytes just gives you 32 bytes of random numbers. That's all it is, right? You can use a command. How about if we do? Did we say? What is it up here? Yeah, I guess we could go to the next formed situation because, by the way, if you wanted to convert anything that you did here, you can use a thing. I'm not gonna. You can use a thing called. Like, I'm gonna put it over here. Okay. You're gonna use something called. What is it? Echo, right? And then you're gonna say pack, like this. And then you're gonna add. Well, I want to see. I want to use. You're gonna do something like this. If you're gonna do it, but I'm not doing that. I'm just going to show you what it looks like. And then I know that PHP is 80, because I looked it up, 72, 80, like this. And then, I wonder if it'll work. Let me see. Oops, this doesn't look right. This will not work. You would need a 3. This 3, right? You just see that it's a total argument. 1, 2, and 3. That's what that 3. C, that means unsigned characters. And why is this giving me? Why is this a problem? Oh, okay. Like this. See, if I close this up, sing the song that makes you cry. This is an example. Let's see. Wait a minute. We'll do. There you go. See? PHP. This means PHP. Just want to let you know. You can do. It could be all kinds of stuff. You can, whatever it is that you want. When I'm back. Anyway, I'm gonna close that up because we're not using that. Just want to let you know that you can do. You can do the bin to hex and hex to bin. That's to return it back, or you can unpack. You can do whatever you want. Anyway, so where is this thing? I wanted to. Let's get rid of that. All right, now we're here. We know we got that crazy looking thing. Now you're gonna call this thing called process 1. I wrote it up already. I started one, and it's right here, process 1. And this is what's gonna do the validation. See, when you update, this is the actual updated security script. This is the stuff that you do. The validation script now checks the incoming token, right, that you sent over against the source of the truth, which is that session that's in there. You do the token, you send it in as a post, and then you compare it with what you got in section. So the session variables, right, that holds information about one single user. It could be all kinds of stuff, whatever you want, and it's available like through all pages. In other words, like the cookie, when you create a cookie and you're in the home page, when you go to the about page or whatever, that cookie, if you call that cookie, it'll be in all pages. Same thing with the session, but the session works on the server side, so it's in all pages. So when you work with an application, you open it, do some changes, and then you close it. This is such like a session, right? The computer knows who you are, and it knows when you start the application and when you close it. That's it. But one of the internet thing that has one problem is that, every time you call a website, any website, like for instance, one site like this, any website really, right? It has a problem. It doesn't hold state. See, once it calls, it downloads to your browser, right? Or IBM.com, what is it, Apple.com. You do that, you hit enter, and then boom, you got the website from Apple, and that's it. You're not really connected to Apple. It just downloads it to your browser, and that's it. So that doesn't have state, meaning there's no connection there. And this is why that session stuff works so much better. That solves that problem. And by storing user information to be used across multiple pages, like user logins, shopping cart, all kinds of stuff. You know what I'm talking about, All right. So by default, session variables last until the user closes the browser. Once the user closes this browser, that's it. It's done. The cookie sits in the browser. It actually sits inside your browser. So when you go back again and you can remember the name of that cookie, you can use it. All right, so, well, let's see, we're here. It's not doing anything, so how about we're going to start the session. Now, remember I told you, you have to start that session if you're going to start using session, right? So it's like this. And then we're going to see, we're going to do the dynamic CF, what is that, the CRF validation. And we will check both incoming tokens, the one that's coming in from the post, and we're going to compare it with the one that's in the session. That's the best way to do it. So we did something like, we're going to use isSet, okay? If, man, I'm clocked. I don't understand this. You know what it is? My office is cold. It is cold. And I got the little heater on, but it's a good heater. It's just, it's old. Because it's got oil inside. Okay, and then you're going to say, not. I don't know if I'm going to explain to you what I mean by this, okay? I'm sorry, guys. I really am sorry. And then you're going to go like this. And then you're going to, oops, no caps. That's why it gave me that error. No, it did not give me that error because of that. Why is it on my okay, how about we put in some information? So we're going to say, remember that it came from the, oh yeah, I forgot to mention, where is it? Did I? Wait a minute, did I? Oh, here we go, see? Post. That's what we're checking for. So it goes like this, this creates into post. Something is wrong here, dude. I'm getting this stupid. The only way I'm going to do this to make sure I'm not seeing these weird things. Oh my God, you people. Let me see. Is set. I'm spelling this wrong. No, because you forgot to put this stuff in here, man. You're checking for, what is it called again? CSRF underscore token. Okay, and then this one is using the session, right? Dollar underscores. So remember caps like that. This is a super global, by the way. And then you're gonna go like this. And you're gonna say CSRF underscore token like this. And let's see. There you go. Oh, I can see the problem already. First of all, I spelled token wrong. Second of all, I spelled the whole thing wrong, which is this. See, this token comes from the actual post, right? It comes from in here. So which is when you go like this. Did I erase that thing? I thought I got rid of it. Did I? I don't know. Let me see. This, see? This is post. It's gonna say, oh look, this is the name. Look, name CSRF underscore token, and it's gonna send this information to there. Okay. Let me see, erase that. I knew I had that going. I'm so stupid. I was looking into what that thing was. Oh no, sorry, it's a Frankfurter. What the? Excuse me, I don't mean to say bad words. I don't know. I just saw something that's completely unplugged over here. I don't understand how that thing got unplugged. Huh. And I no longer have the dog, so my daughter she got it back after she came back from Italy. So how did it? Oh, never mind. let's get back to the lesson. So we're gonna, this is saying equals to, this is the post, right? It goes into from the server. Then it says, oh, wait a minute, check the section. What I told you, every page will always understand what the section is because you already, where is it? Created it over here. You already did this right here, look. This right here. And that's what you saw. Let's go back over here because I want to continue this because I don't want this to take. If it doesn't work, let's do the die. Remember the die command? That just says, hey, just quit, just get out. Give me a, just send a security message. You could say something like this. By the way, on the forms that I'm going to show you how to, once you submit the form, or if there's a problem, something, and it goes right back to the actual form after you have done stuff like the processing of the .php, right? It's going to check for errors, and then you get like an error message on your screen. All right, so let's see. Because I'm breaking it down little bit by little so that way you can understand, so that when we do the last one, you go, oh, okay, I see. All right, so what we're going to say here, token, like this, token missing. Oh my God, what is it with these people? You know, they know I have to, I'm recording, I don't beat, they don't want to, oh, forget it. Right, so you got this, right? And then you're going to check that. Remember the time that we said, well, okay, how about we check, remember how we would do something like, let's copy this for a second. Let's see. Remember how we, let's take this. Do I really need all these things? I would do this. 1, 2, 3, remember that? And then you give it that little special stuff because I hard-coded. Then the reason why I did that so way back is because to get you to know it, but you don't have to do that anymore, right? Remember I told you we can use this thing here because this is what checks it, right? But if you wanted to do more, like you could use like an option like to clear the token, and I don't understand why my nose is just doing this. We could use the hash equals, which makes, instead of doing this like, you know, hard-coded, we just use the, what should we do? Use the hash. Why don't we just take this whole thing so we can kind of start all over. So if it's not equal to, let's say hash equals like this, then you're gonna say dollar. This phone. This is so ridiculous. Excuse me, guys. Let me get a little sip of this hot water. Yeah. What was I? Okay, so we're gonna let this, right? You guys want to take a sip of your coffee? You guys can go ahead. I'll wait for a second. Very good. Now, this is what we do. We're gonna do this. We're gonna say session. Remember this? And what's the name of it? What is it? CSRF token. Like that. That's the name of it. Which is this right here. And then you're going to say, okay, if it's not equal to this, then you're going to say comma. And then you're going to say post. Remember the post one? Like this. Remember that one? CSRF token. It's just another way of checking. Let me see. La. And then we could just say whatever the hell you want. Ooh, excuse me, I didn't mean to say a bad word, guys. Sorry about that. We could say CSRF token missing. Oh no, we could say mismatch. That would be a better deal. Like that. Okay. Do you think this would it work? And then after, you know, after you finish your variable, that session situation, why don't you, you know, uh, why don't you do this? Onset like this, $_ session like this, CSRF token. Wait, token, see token, yeah. Just do that like this, and what happens is it just clears the token after you use it to prevent like replay. This is just to give you extra security. You do this and then do this again. You know what I mean? Like the replay of attacks and stuff. The unset, right? That function, that's by all built-in stuff, right? That clears out the variables that you create, right? So then from there, after you have done that, then you can proceed. You can kind of like right here, you can say, let's put a little bunch of like this, and just say pro. I gotta get into my paint too, because I have to paint these. Continue. C to sanitation and database insertion. And don't forget, you can say sanitation / validation, like that. And from here, you can put all that stuff here. All that stuff. Remember that whole bunch of stuff that you put in here when you check for emptiness, you check for this, you check for that. It's HTML special characters. Remember that one? All those things, you want to do that. But for now, we're just going to kind of do this and just say echo. I'm going to say once it passes, let me see, it will continue to, the sanitation validation. Sanitation and validation process. When we get to that last video that I was talking about, it's going to have all that stuff here, okay? It's going to have all that stuff because you're going to use all these things that I'm showing you. You're going to get to use it. And then, of course, that's it. Now, why you think that this works? Why do you think? Because when we use this instead of that, remember I told you using, how about we go like this, using like that. We're using that, or the double ones, because it provides timing attack resistance when you do this way, which is a really good thing. And it shows that the comparison between the two amount of time, that regardless of whether the string matches, preventing like the hackers from guessing the strings. They always try, they give you that brute thing where they guess and guess, and they have these little programs that will just create these things for you, hoping that the combination will match, and then now they're in, that kind of thing. This will prevent the hacker from guessing the string. And based on the server response time too. This is why you do this. This is a great thing. It's a fantastic stuff. Anyway, let's see. Let's give it a shot. I'm over here talking about it, but does it work? Now remember, guys, I always have problems, right? And then you guys in the comment below, you're going to help me what it is. How about we do this? Let's check to see that it did it. Right? We know it did. There it goes. Very good. And then you're going to hit submit. And then it goes. Look. What? Why did I say this? Once. Yeah, I guess. Once it, let's see. It passes, it will continue to sanitize. Did I spell that right? Sanitize. Yeah, I think it sanitize. Right here. Sanitize. how do you spell that? Sanitation. Jeez, I can't remember. Sing the song, sing the song, sing the song that will make you. It's called sanity. It's missing something. Sanitation. Yes. Oop, oop, oop. T. So you could say. I mean, it doesn't mean anything. This is stupid, but I just wanted to sanitization. Okay, sanitation. That would be a bad idea. I don't know. Okay, that's good. So you go like this. You hit it. Did it spell it right? Resets it. Token missing. Ah, isn't that great? You go like this, you hit it, and then it did it right. You try doing it again, this is why I don't see it. Where is it? You know why? Because I stopped it. Look right here. I killed it. See, when I did like this, look, I said, oh, you display. Valve will send information back. Sends information, say, oh, token missing. Token missing. Why? Because when I hit the if this would have been there, because it had this here, it stopped it. So now when you try running it from that position where you were before, when you had this message right here, and you try hitting it, it's gonna go back again, right? And then read and do this, and it's gonna say, wait a minute, you can't. It doesn't work. That's why it stopped right here. And it died. Because of this guy right here. Anyway, thank you very much. We reached the end. If you like, remember I told you this is just a small piece, and I'm going to keep adding into it till we get the. We're going to talk about. What should we talk about on the next one? Maybe we'll talk about the errors. How we're going to get the errors, and then what we're going to do. I'll let you know in my next video. Anyway, reach the bottom. Hey, if you enjoy it, you learned something from it, give me a likes, subscribe, and hey, give me some comments because I do read them. All right, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Until next time, good night.